Hello there, guys, and welcome to That Anxious Gamer. I'm so glad you could join me. Today I'm going to be doing a movie review for Transformers Rise of the Beast, which premiered June 9th, 2023. Me and my wife got to see this film in Dolby Digital just last night, and today I'm going to be talking you through a 7 to 10 minute review looking at the positives of the film, the negatives of the film, what target audience the film is going for, and if you should spend the money to go see it. So let's get into actually the film itself. Transformers Rise of the Beast is a tagline of during the 90s, a new faction of Transformers, the Maximals, joined the Autobots as allies in a battle for Earth. As you can probably tell from the tagline, this film doesn't go out of the norm for the Transformers movie franchise. It plays itself safe. It's a summer blockbuster that ultimately is trying to give you a good story with some action sequences in a runtime of around 2 hours and 7 minutes, and basically give you exactly what you expect. What you see on the tin is what you get. The IMDb rating is 6.6 currently, and my rating will be at the end of the video once I sum up all my points. So let's go into actually the stars and who directed the film. So this film was directed by Stephen Capel Jr. It stars Anthony Ramos as Noah Diaz, Dominique Fishback as Elena Wallace, Dean Scott Valquez as Chris Diaz, which was an amazing performance, by the way. Michelle Yeoh voices one of our new Beast characters. Peter Dinklage voices Scourge, which is basically the main antagonist of the film. And Pete Davidson voices Mirage, which is kind of the main Autobot that this movie centers around. Now, there's a bunch of other actors and actresses that did a great job. It's a big ensemble cast, so I'm just kind of showing you the highlights and some of the stars that you may know. Let's go into the pros of this film and what I think it did well. Number one, it doesn't overstay its welcome. It's at 2 hours and 7 minute runtime. It really knows how to hit the action sequences, focus on the story when it needs to, and it doesn't overstay its welcome and just keep dragging on and on and on with pointless action sequences that don't add anything. Number two, it has a fairly strong story. I was actually surprised how much I thought the plot and story of this film was good, especially given the IMDb rating of 6.6, which is, I feel, artificially low. I think the story is actually fairly solid and much better than other recent movies that had a very high rating, like Spider-Man. So, yeah, I feel the story is very, very good, and I really enjoyed it. You basically have a classic story of brother is trying to help his younger brother. Younger brother is sick. I'm not going to go into spoilers too much. This is stuff that we see just at the start of the film. So if there is any spoilers, I will definitely let you know, guys. And this is a non-spoiler review. Number three that I feel like it did quite well is it didn't overuse its action sequences. It has incredible action sequences, and they are really good. The advantage, though, is it doesn't bloat the movie out with too much action that just fills the movie up, similar to the recent Avatar, where sometimes it felt like there was certain scenes that could just been cut and the movie would have been better for it. Fourth, that I think is really, really strong point for this movie, the voices are amazing. Pete Davidson does such a good job as Mirage, and I think, honestly, Peter Dinklage, Scourge, really, really awesome. A lot of the new Maximals, which are kind of the Autobot compatriots, also do a really good job. And I think it really has good voice acting, pretty much. So the main pro of this movie, if you really look at it, is its wonderful, mindless summer fun. It has a good story. It knows pretty much what it's intended to be and who its intended audience is supposed to be, and it focuses on them. Who is its intended audience? This movie's intended audience, in my opinion, is teenagers, young adults, and older children. So anywhere from the ages about, I think, 9 to 10 would be pretty appropriate to watch this movie, all the way up to, let's say, 35 or 40. I feel like if you're much younger than that or much older than that, your interest in this movie might wane a lot. What are the cons of this film? This is one of the only. I'm not going to spoil any death sequence, but I'm going to say this. This is a spoiler, so you may want to skip forward just a few moments. But ultimately, there are fake death sequences, fake death scenes in this film, and they don't help. There are multiple of them. for main characters, and all they do is basically cheapen the plot, cheapen the story, because when these characters are brought back, then you're like, why was that put in? And it just feels cheap. So the fake death sequences, fake death scenes need to go. That was terrible. Second major con of the film, I felt like there was a big lack of budget. There was actually shockingly few locales. You basically have the film filmed in New York City, and you have the film filmed down like in Peru and South America. That's it. For a big summer blockbuster and a franchise that's as big as Transformers, you're not getting the globe trotting you would see on like a Mission Impossible. It really felt like, because of the voice actors perhaps, a lot of the budget was taken up, and so the on-scene camera work and cinematography was not as good as I would have hoped. So that's a big negative. The third major con: don't go into this film if you're expecting anything new. If you think that this is going to be kind of Transformers 2.0 or 3.0, it's really not. It's just basically cookie cutter. If you like the older Transformers, you're going to like this. Honestly, I feel like the budget's kind of slipping for the franchise, and if anything, the franchise may be going slightly downhill, but it's still a great addition to the Transformers, like universe. And if you like them, you're gonna like this film. Um, the other major con, which is kind of a good thing and kind of a con, is that the actual primals, the new characters and the new main faction in this film, actually feel much cooler than the Autobots. For instance, their prime, which is basically characterized by this huge great ape, is actually way more exciting than, like the main prime of the Autobots, Maximus Prime. So I felt that was weird. I didn't understand that. That was actually kind of weird. Maybe that's just a personal thing. Maybe that differs depending on who you're looking at. But yeah, I felt that was a big negative. And yeah, the animal Autobots, in essence, which is what they basically are in this film, are cool, are really cool. And the main villain and like this huge like space entity, which I'm not going to name and we're not going to get into spoilers, is really, really, really cool in this film. Some of the CGI, they limit it, they don't overuse it, but it's absolutely amazing. It's really cool, and I think they did a great job. So let's sum up, guys. What was this movie about? Basically, this movie is a summer blockbuster. If you're going in for an action-oriented movie and you want to have a movie around 2 hours to 2 hours and 15 minutes, this is your movie. You should definitely go check it out in Dolby Digital or IMAX 3D. I will say my rating personally is 7.8, IMDb 6.6. I think it was a great time. Me and my wife had a fantastic time. We both said and we both agreed that we really enjoyed this film, and I would definitely go see the next Transformers. So yeah, guys, that's just been my review of Transformers: Rise of the Beast. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. If you have, or if you have different thoughts about it, please comment down below and tell me what you guys think, and I'll see you guys in the next movie review.